Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Taurus, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link and my official Instagram, both listed in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. Taurus, I hope that you're doing well. I'm sorry that the lighting is really weird. I'm doing it kind of late in the afternoon, and the sun is somehow finding a little spot between my blinds to shine through on me right now, but that's okay. We can take a little bit of sun shining on us. I'm going to be using two decks for your reading today. The first one for the overall energy will be from the Human Spirit Oracle deck, and your tarot portion will be with the Good Tarot. And then at the end, I'm going to pull a charm from the bowl just to get a last minute message from Spirit. The cards have been pre-shuffled. This is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Thank you. Yeah, Taurus, do you feel like there's some scrutiny of you in this moment? It is the number 5 card, though. 5 corresponds to the Hierophant card of the Major Arcana. That's a Taurus energy. So, Taurus, you showed up in your own reading. And the word is fishbowl. Fishbowl. Anytime we think of being in a fishbowl, a clear fishbowl where people can see us, but we maybe can't see them. There's the sense of being on display, a sense of scrutiny. And, you know, when in my less confident days, I used to do this. It's almost like, you know how, like, when you think of yourself when you're younger and you think about the ways you used to behave or the things you said or the things you even thought, and then it just kind of embarrasses you, or is that just me? Sometimes I feel really embarrassed for some of the ways that I acted, but then again, it's like that's part of wisdom, that's part of maturity. But there's something happening having to do with maturity or confidence. There's a sense that you want to hide yourself. It's like you want to know, but you don't want to know. You want to be seen, but you want to hide at the same time. Her eye almost seems too big for her head, which suggests to me that you're seeing something very clearly. But there's a part of you, I feel like you don't feel like you can say it. Because I see this bubble over the throat chakra here, and then I see all these bubbles floating around. It's almost like there are these, well, just take it as it resonates, but I do see a little bit of passive-aggressive energy. Like you making side or snide comments to people. Instead of having direct conversation. But they linger in the air, you know. And sometimes, look, I'm a Cancer, so Cancers are very good at being passive aggressive. I hate to say that. I hate to say that. It's true. I try not to do that anymore. I just try to be aggressive, or not aggressive. But yes, well, direct. But the reason why Cancers use passive aggression is because it works. Because these things, the energy lingers and floats through the air and actually takes the air out of a room sometimes. And Taurus, I feel like, thank you, Spirit, I feel like some of that's kind of floating around your orbits. Or for example, if you are upset at your partner or a family member or your coworkers, everybody knows it, even though you might not have said anything. But this fishbowl effect makes me want to say to you, I feel like it might be backfiring because it's causing people to scrutinize you even more, as opposed to just having the direct conversation. So there's no guessing game as to what you're thinking. I feel like the passive approach is actually hindering some of the progress that you hope to be making. Let's get some more insight into this. I'm going to be pulling 3 cards, past, present, and future. Yeah. Past, present, and future. Pull some clarifiers. I'm not taking any reversals. No reversals. Past, present, and future for Taurus, please. Wow. 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 Hold on. I'm gonna freak out if this last card is what I think it wants to be. Hold on. Come on, Spirit. For the future potential for Taurus. Bear with me. Things are happening on this table. Come on, Spirit. You don't have all day. Okay, now. All right. An extra card came out. 9 of Earth or 9 of Pentacles. It's a beautiful card, isn't it? You can see kind of, I don't know what those are. Looks like Celtic knots. I don't know. That's what it looks like to me. Nine of Pentacles, 9 of Earth talks about making investment into something and enjoying the fruits of your labor. But it's a very independent vibe. So you could be quietly celebrating something, but you're kind of alone in doing that, which is, honestly, I want to say you're okay with that. But see how she has a mask on? There's still this sense of hiding. Almost like you could have a master plan, you know, in the pipeline. And so you're kind of laying the foundation. You're saving. Spirit just said. Okay, so I have the deck, the tarot deck, sitting here on top of the boxes, and my hand just hit it, and a card just flipped off the deck. And it's the 7 of Pentacles. Very important because, okay, we've put all this investment in. We're putting our ducks in a row, we're planting seeds, we're saving our money or resources or what have you. And then this card wanted to speak to you. 7 of Earth, 7 of Pentacles. That's the card of, as Chris Reck at Minnow Pond Tarot, he loves to say, is the juice worth the squeeze? So now you've invested all of this time into something, and now you're at the point where you're asking yourself, is it worth it? You're not, the whole deck just fell off the table. The whole deck just fell off the table. There could be a part of you that wants to flip that table and just say, F it, I'm done. What am I doing here? What am I doing this for? And then there's another part of you that's like having a conversation with somebody and they're like, look, there's still some magic to be had here. Look at that face. He like almost looks irritated to me today. I'm just like, really? do I really have to, like, do I really have to do this? And then there's, it's almost like your guardian angel or your guides or something. Just be like, look, you've already, sorry, I'm just picking up the cards. You've already invested so much, and you know why you've invested so much. You've earned the right to reap the rewards here. So why are you going to give up now? Just a question that Spirit is asking you. Because it's almost like there's this sense of just like, is it worth all the scrutiny? You know? In the past position, the reason why I was like, whoa, what is happening, is because you got a 5 here, you got a 5 here, and you got a 5 here. 5, 5, 5. So take it as it resonates. Even your cover card is a 1, 4, which is a 5. 5, as I said, was the Hierophant card, your card in the Major Arcana of the Tarot. So there is no doubt that I am reading for Taurus. There's no doubt. 5 of Water, the past energy. 5 of Cups, the feeling of being forlorn, of being melancholy. Sometimes this card can represent depression, sadness. Is this all there? The sense of, is this all there is? But this is the good tarot, remember, and so it's kind of like saying, look, I might have to be striking out on my own, but Spirit is never far from my side. Spirit is never far from my side. So I feel some regrets in your past energy. Because for some reason, in my mind's eye, I feel like this, I don't know, mermaid or whatever sea creature she is, I feel like she's had to leave something in the past. Like, she's like this and just having to, I feel like there's a whole bunch happening in her past energy and she's kind of scurrying away. I don't know why I'm now seeing an image from one of the Star Wars movies that they're in these vehicles that can like hover over the ground and move very, very quickly. That's what I feel like this is. You might be a Star Wars fan, take it as it resonates. I feel like there's this, okay, that's relevant. So now Spirit is showing me this something I saw on Instagram yesterday, and it was talking about the Han Solo effect, which of course was Harrison Ford's iconic character in Star Wars. The story goes, Harrison Ford was not originally cast as Han Solo. In fact, he wasn't cast as anything. He was a carpenter on the set. And he was pissed at George Lucas, who I guess was his friend, that he like wouldn't let him audition or wasn't thinking of him for the role or whatever. So one day he's building the sets, and Carrie Fisher, who played Princess Leia, comes in, but the person that was supposed to read for Han Solo didn't show up. So George Lucas looked at Harrison Ford building the sets and said, hey, Harrison, come over. Will you just read with Carrie, read the lines, so she has somebody to bounce off of. And Harrison Ford was pissed. He's a Cancer, by the way. Anyway, passive aggressive, right? He was pissed. And he was annoyed that he didn't get a chance to do a proper audition. So he's standing there holding the script, and she says some line, and then he says, and it's totally unscripted, he says, okay, yeah, okay, princess. Okay, princess. Or whatever you say, princess. That was not the line in the script. It was just him being a bastard. And George Lucas saw Harrison Ford being annoyed and passive aggressive, and he said, that's my Han Solo. That's the Han Solo effect. It's about being at the right place at the right time and being fairly authentic to yourself. But it's more, the Han Solo effect is more about like right place, right time. So there could be something to that where you, at some point, you're not interested in playing the game. And you're just like, yeah, okay, princess. And the tides shift for you. So I see you kind of stepping away, stepping out from a group, feeling left out because of that, but it's almost like your choice. You saying to yourself, okay, I'm just going to be myself. There's no one else I can be. Because if, this is one of those things. If people want to watch, let me give them a show. Can I have a clarifier for the 5 of water, please, for the past energy for Taurus? Thank you. 2 cards came out. Beautiful. 2 consecutive cards came out. That's very rare. 78 cards in the deck. Been shuffled, so just bear that in mind, because consecutive cards talk about progression. You got the number 7 of the major arcana, the Chariot card, Cancer energy. You got the number 8 of the major arcana, Strength card, Leo energy. So 2 major arcanas, that's already very important, because it shows that, okay, now Spirit's getting involved. I asked for a clarifier of why this feeling, and I get these 2 cards. The Chariot card talks about a mastery, a victory, hard control over the light and the shadow, the yin and the yang aspects of who we are. You've mastered something of yourself. And dare I say, going to the Strength card, some of it has to do with your ego. The part of you that's defensive, protective, self-preserving, and it's something we all have. It's our ego can help us or it can hinder us. The suggestion here is that it had been hindering you, but now Spirit is showing me a mastery, taming the beast within. Also sitting with divine feminine energy. That's what Spirit wanted. They were kind of putting that in my mind just now when I paused. We want to make sure, right, a lot of the alignment and awakening process involves the individual to bring the masculine, the divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy into a kind of union, right? The more aggressive, go-getting, knowing what we want aspect with the more passive, receptive, gentle aspect. We have both within us. It's when you can master knowing when to move and knowing when to hold back, when you can see the ebb and flow of how it works for you, you become a magician. You become unstoppable, because you can intuit and read people, but you can also take advantage of opportunities and situations. You can assemble and prioritize. You can also show compassion and empathy, right? Because when we show compassion and empathy with people, they like us. They identify with us. They feel safe with us. Hopefully you're doing it in a genuine way. People can feel it if you're not, by the way. So here it's like in this past energy, I see that you've gained some wisdom. I see that you've gained some traction. Because there was and had to be a very high degree of self-control. Which can be hard, Taurus, if you're pissed. But I think you're playing it strategically, which is good. You're playing things strategically. So in the present moment, another 5. The 5 of air, or the 5 of swords. In this deck, she is dancing on a tightrope. She's as light as a feather, but she's balancing a lot. But she's determined. And it's almost like she has her spirit team around her, guiding her. The 5 of air, or the 5 of swords, in other decks can talk about winning at all costs. Can be sometimes a kind of ruthless energy, but in the good tarot, it's not ruthless. It's calculating. You have to be calculated. Look at how the wire is so thin as almost to be imperceptible. I just heard, but for Taurus, it's child's play. I just heard that so clearly in my mind. But for Taurus, it's child's play. This is nothing. You think this is difficult? Please. This is what I hear. This is the attitude that's coming. You think this is difficult? Please. Okay. Okay, Taurus. Can I get a clarifier for the 5 of air? Winning at all costs. Queen of earth. Yeah, okay. This is your element, the earth element. Queen of earth now. We've got the 7, we've got the 9, and now we've got the queen. You are elevating, massively elevating. You might not feel it yet, but it's happening. It's like you've gained your antlers here. And then there's like butterfly spirit here. It's kind of like, kind of having emerged from the cocoon, from the chrysalis. There's a quiet confidence to the Queen of Earth. She's abundant, she's lush, she's beautiful, she's generous. Looking at her hair and how luxurious and how full it is. And it's like her shoulder is turning into this ivy. Spirit just said creeping ivy. Creeping ivy. Maybe you have that growing on your house or your apartment. It's like, I was like, why, Spirit, why is it important that the creeping part comes in? Because it's almost like Spirit was showing me that it's like infectious, that your influence kind of touches people, like you have an effect on people that permeates and radiates out. This is beautiful. This is exactly the kind of energy an earth sign wants to be in, besides the king of earth. Like, you want to sit squarely in your element, in a place of power, which is what the queen does. But she uses her powers for good. And sometimes the 5 of air, remember, ruthless? But now you're just like, no, I refuse to allow this level of scrutiny to change who I am. Change me into a person that is unconfident and hiding and resentful. No, I refuse to allow that to happen. I'm going to be masterful and magical and generous and loving. Queen of Earth is loving. So we end the reading with the future potential. Another major arcana, this one I love for you. Number 2, the High Priestess. This is Pisces energy. High Priestess, one of my favorite cards, talks about divine feminine energy that is all-knowing and all-seeing. Says nothing. High Priestess is quiet. It's the kind of person that can walk into a room and feel the vibe. It's somebody who relies very heavily on their instinct, their third eye, their intuition. So we just keep up-leveling, Taurus, from this to this. But you can't mess with a High Priestess. She already knew what you were going to say before you even had the thought. This is mastery. This is divinely guided. This involves your gifts. So you could be clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant. I feel like a lot of Taurians are claircognizant. This is like this deep knowing. You don't know how you know, but you do know. Because I'm also claircognizant. I don't know how I know. I just do. And it's not trying to be like a know-it-all, but it's just like, no, I know how that works. All right. Can I get a clarifier for the High Priestess? What is Taurus doing with these powers? Damn. Another queen. Someone very much is sitting in their divine feminine energy, and it's like really beautiful. Queen of Air, Queen of Swords. So not only are you lush, attractive, abundant, but now you're wise, you're intelligent, you're strategic. Didn't I just say you know what people are thinking before they've even had the thought? That's the Queen of Air. She is constantly in pursuit of the truth. The thing is, she already knows what the truth is. She just wants to know if you know it. The Queen of Air is testing other people to see what they know, how savvy they are. So you put these energies together and it's like, Spirit just said, that's a roundhouse kick. Your spirit guides are very funny. That's a roundhouse kick. I don't know if you do MMA fighting or you're like I don't even know. Boxing, like when do you even use a roundhouse kick? I have no idea. That's what Spirit said. Take it as it resonates. I don't know what that means. That's a roundhouse kick. Okay. It's like you're activating all parts of your body. Okay, I'm going to say it to you in terms that I understand, which is it's a triple threat. So I'm going to pull a charm from the bowl to get any last minute messages from Spirit. We got the moon. This is a moon. Can you see it? The man in the moon. The moon is also Pisces energy. And it talks about mysteries, illusion, and confusion. So, as a parting thought from Spirit, they are reminding you that not everything is as it seems, and to always consult your gut feeling and your intuition before all else. In order to trust your intuition, you have to sit with yourself quietly and reflect and listen to that inner voice very carefully. Be comfortable with the voice within. And don't allow outside influence to sway you. That's your reading, Taurus. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Taurus.